I dumped my boyfriend and he dragged his dog into it.
Leave the dog out of it, you monster.
I am 23 female and recently ended a nearly 3-year relationship with my boyfriend, 24 male. When I finally ended the relationship, I told him I wanted him to be out of my home by the time I returned later that day. He packed his belongings and left on his own accord. I have since been criticized for being too harsh, especially regarding his dog and unresolved financial issues, so I am looking for outside perspective on whether my boundaries were unreasonable. By the way, this comes from Zoe Reagan, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when we first started dating, we had already known each other for some time and had an established level of trust. At the beginning of our relationship, he had just lost a job he had held for about 4 years. Over time, he moved in with me, and we agreed that once he found and retained a job, we would split expenses evenly. That never happened. From that point forward, I took over all weekly expenses, including rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, and general household costs. I continued covering everything, partly because I needed to keep my household stable, and partly because I wanted to make it as easy as possible for him to focus on finding work. Over the entire relationship, he held 3 jobs total, lasting a combined 6 or 7 months, and the rest of the time I was the sole provider. Over the course of nearly 3 years, I feel I consistently went well beyond my fair share to maintain stability in the relationship. Despite repeated efforts to be patient, supportive, and reduce pressure so he could contribute, the responsibility never became balanced. About a year ago, I ended the relationship after discovering he had been messaging other women online trying to meet up. We were broken up from November 2024 to February 2025. During that time, I felt more independent and less stressed. We eventually reconciled after he promised to apply for jobs consistently and contribute financially. As we approach nearly a year since reconciling, none of those promises has been kept. Over the past month, as it became clear that nearly a year had passed without follow-through, I clearly communicated that I needed to see effort, even something as basic as applying for jobs online, because I was struggling financially and emotionally. Nothing changed, and I became burned out. During our relationship, he brought his dog to live with me, but it was always clear that the dog was his, not mine. I accepted the dog into my home with the understanding that he was present and responsible for the dog's care. When I ended the relationship and he moved out, the dog remained with me temporarily. I agreed to care for the dog until the food ran out or until the new year to avoid putting the dog in a bad situation. Communication around the dog has been inconsistent. He does not currently have stable housing and has asked for extensions without providing concrete dates. The dog escaped once by opening a sliding glass door, which required me to kennel him for safety. I work very long hours, typically 56 to 70 hours a week, and during those hours, the dog must remain kenneled. He is not used to a kennel and cries for long periods, disturbing my sleep and my neighbors. I do not believe this is fair or sustainable quality of life for him, and I made it clear that keeping the dog here long term is not in his best interest. I told him clearly that I cannot have the dog in my home past December 31st. New year, no dog.
New year, no dog.
That's what I always say.
Yep.
Except that's a lie. I usually say New Year, I want a dog.
New year, please. Can I have one?
And asked for a plan by December 29th. If he or a family member cannot pick the dog up, I said I would move forward with rehoming the dog or surrendering him to a shelter so he can be somewhere stable. There are also unresolved financial and property issues. During our relationship, he lost a phone his parents had paid for at a friend's birthday party I attended. You couldn't find it? It's a friend's birthday party. You couldn't find the phone?
How did you lose it?
You don't have Find My iPhone?
I feel like someone had to have just taken it. If you couldn't find it there.
I purchased a replacement phone on my plan because I felt responsible and wanted to help. What?
Why did you feel responsible?
You felt responsible for him losing
just
a phone?
'cause the friend was yours means that you're responsible for it?
That doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
The phone and service are in my name and cannot be recovered even if the phone is returned. When he moved out, he took a television that belonged to him and a Puffco device that belonged to me, which he claims was a gift. I don't know what that is. I offered clear options to resolve this fairly. Either return the Puffco and television if I continue paying for the phone and service, or pay the remaining phone balance of $524.97 and take over the account so it is no longer in my name, What is a Puffco?
I'm just imagining some sort of vape, but I don't know.
Oh.
I have no idea.
That makes
though.
so much more sense.
Yeah. What were you
I
thinking?
was thinking like a Furby. Like, why do you guys have a Puffco?
Could you please look up what a Puffco
That
is?
makes yours makes a lot more sense.
But it's
I'm on
interesting
it.
that it's next to TV, so
Yeah.
it sounds expensive.
And they're talking about the phone bill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
It's a smoking device. Well, there you go. You were right.
aha.
That's there. We got it. We got
Cool.
there.
I asked for a response so we could close this out, but I have not received one. There is also an unpaid ticket he received while driving a car in my name, which remains on my record. That car was later repossessed because it was the only bill I could delay without immediate consequences in order to keep my housing and utilities current. At this point, I feel that I set clear boundaries based on my capacity, finances, and responsibility to my household. I am trying to resolve these issues in a way that avoids further instability or harm, even though that means making difficult decisions. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like you did anything wrong. If you hurt his
No.
feelings, I feel like you hurt his
Who
feelings. And that's his problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think this is ridiculous and he needs to pay you back, especially if you guys aren't in a relationship, which I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they are. But there are some comments. New lifeguard says he sounds like a cheating loser mooch. So not the a-hole for breaking up with him. So yeah. Okay. But I would check your local laws regarding the dog and financial questions, so you can avoid breaking any laws. I will say, depending on where you live, you may have broken laws by kicking him out the day you asked him to leave. In a lot of places, you have to go through a legal eviction process in order to remove someone from their home, because it was his home too, even though it was your place. OP says he's already left my home on his own accord. The dog is also registered to me in my county because my ex was too broke to pay for registration, even though it's required. Usual Canary says you got yourself a hobo. Go to small claims court for any property or money of yours he's holding. That would probably be the best advice.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you're not with him, so there's really no like, oh, I feel bad hurting his feelings. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just get your money and go.
Yeah.
If December 29th comes without him picking up the dog, January 1st proceed with rehoming or surrendering the dog. Cut the leech out of your life completely. You will realize so much peace by doing that. And there is an update 10 days later. Any more thoughts before we get into it?
I mean, I agree with those comments. I think the best way to go is the safe legal route.
Yeah, especially
Sure.
if like all of your attempts to contact him have been not successful.
Yeah, I think that'd get some attention.
Yeah,
For sure.
you'd be like, ooh. And honestly, if you just like threaten it,
Yeah.
it might be as effective.
Yeah, I think so too. Try that first. Give him a fair warning.
Update 10 days later. Zeus is my ex-boyfriend's dog. When we separated, he left Zeus at my home, sick name for a dog, and communication became limited almost immediately. I work long hours, already have my own dog. I don't think you mentioned that,
Yeah.
which does make a lot of difference in trying to take care of a dog when you already have one.
Right.
Especially if, hopefully they get along. And was clear from the start that I could not care for Zeus indefinitely. I gave my ex multiple verbal and written notices that I needed a concrete plan and a firm pickup date. I clearly told him I could not keep Zeus past December 31st. This was communicated more than once and in advance. I did not move the deadline or surprise him. Instead of a plan, I received repeated requests for more time with no timeline. He told me he was saving for a kennel and supplies, but also told me that if he picked Zeus up, the dog would have to live outdoors in a makeshift setup because he's not allowed to have dogs indoors where he's staying. Well, then it sounds like we're rehoming Zeus.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds like it.
kind of like the only,
I just said it sounds like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like the only option.
Mm-hmm.
Zeus has been an indoor dog his entire life. There were also serious practical and safety issues while Zeus was under my care. Zeus escaped home a total of 3 times because he could open doors.
Wow.
He can open doors?
Do we know what kind of dog this is? Is it perhaps a husky? 'Cause
Yeah, can
they're
they open
escape
doors?
artists. Depends on
That's
the door.
crazy.
Is it perhaps a person wearing a very convincing dog costume?
It's actually your ex-boyfriend. He's been there the whole time.
Right.
That's crazy because presumably you're locking these doors?
Right. I mean, I guess it depends on like the type of door.
I guess
Like if it's
so.
because they have the ones where it's just like the thumb just pushes down.
Yeah,
you know what I
they
mean?
could
I feel
open
like
that.
A dog could open that one.
This whole time, it's just been a dog door.
It's just a dog.
Like, dogs
He's
really good at
opening the
opening
doors.
dog-centric
Yeah,
doors.
He knows how.
Each time I had to stop everything search for him, and wait for him to be found and returned by good Samaritans. In total, I missed over 16 hours of work dealing with these incidents. On one occasion, I chose not to kennel him because I felt bad, and he had explosive diarrhea throughout my home.
Oh, man.
That sucks. I had to deep clean my carpets myself and ultimately dispose of my $200 carpet cleaner because it was contaminated with feces.
Oh, my God.
I do think that you could have probably cleaned that out.
Out of the carpet cleaner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's meant to clean stuff like that, so I feel like you could have cleaned that out.
Yeah, I wonder, like, how it was dirty. Like, did it just get into all these nooks and crevices?
Well, with a carpet cleaner, it's like you have the brush and then you have the container that's all
Sure.
the dirty water.
Yeah.
Both of those are pretty easy to clean.
Yeah. Maybe it was just so dirty that
Yeah.
it got all over.
She was like, I can't.
It's
I'd rather throw it out.
Yeah.
This was not a minor inconvenience. It caused financial loss, health concerns, and additional stress on top of an already overwhelming situation. Zeus also has an untreated yeast infection in his ears that was identified months ago while my ex was still living with
Oh my
me.
gosh.
Initial drops were tried and did not resolve the issue. After that, no further veterinary care was pursued. I was not financially or logistically able to take over medical care for a dog that is not mine, especially while working 56 to 70-hour weeks. I gave my ex a final deadline and told him clearly that if I did not receive a concrete plan by the date, I would move forward with surrendering Zeus so he could receive proper care and be placed somewhere stable. He did not respond by the deadline. By the way, I need you guys to respond and tell me if you're going to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
You have a 5-second deadline. Your deadline is in 5 seconds to give us that response.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Did you do it? I hope you did it. Wow, you didn't do it?
Messed up.
Crazy.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I'm glad that you're taking care of Zeus. I'm glad we're getting
Yeah.
to the vet. I'm glad that he is not with that terrible owner anymore because
Yeah.
he was not being taken care of properly.
Like, even though you ultimately are going to have to surrender this dog or,
Mhm.
put him in a shelter,
Yeah.
you have done a lot when you didn't really have the means or
Yeah.
time to take
Yeah.
care of Zeus. So good on you.
Good on you, man.
I followed through and surrendered Zeus to the Humane Society, which is a no unaliving facility, so he could receive medical care, supervision, and a stable path forward. I informed my ex afterward. I did not abandon the dog or leave him unsafe. I took him somewhere equipped to handle his needs. Only after this did my ex respond angrily, saying, "You just needed more time," and accusing me of being unreasonable. Well, maybe you should have answered any of the texts.
Yeah.
At that point, the decision had already been made after weeks of warnings, deadlines, and escalating issues. This was not done out of spite. It was done because continuing to wait with no plan, repeated escapes, property damage, untreated medical issues, and an unsafe proposed living situation was not fair to the dog or to me. So am I the a-hole for following through on a boundary I clearly communicated and enforcing it when nothing changed? But that is the end of that story.
My husband pulled a prank on me with my dream Christmas gift.
Well, I'm gonna pull a prank where I break up with you, except it's not a prank.
The title is dramatic, but I'm very deeply hurt and seriously depressed and heartbroken. I love Christmas, and I always get so excited for it every year. I put so much effort into making Christmas nice, and I always shower my husband with presents. This year, my husband's sister is visiting from overseas, and I had to do all the Christmas gift shopping for his sister because my husband didn't lift a finger to shop for gifts for her. By the way, this comes from Avian Empress, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, he wouldn't even respond when I kept asking him over and over again what we should get for his sister. I'm mentioning this just for context to show how seriously I take Christmas and how important it is for me to ensure everyone has a great Christmas and plenty of great gifts to open. Anyway, I gave my Christmas list to my husband and made it clear how much I really wanted this fancy tea kettle. I mentioned this many times so that he knew how important it was to me that Santa bring me that tea kettle. I knew he got me the tea kettle because before Christmas, I saw a box in the garage that said the brand on it.
Oh no.
Even if I hadn't seen the box, I knew he would get the kettle because he knows how much I wanted it. And he did drop me a hint that Santa was gonna spend a lot of money on me this year. To be fair, I will admit that he did get me all the gifts I wanted for Christmas. Here's where the heartbreak comes in.
Uh-oh.
A few days before Christmas, after he wrapped his gifts and put them under the tree, I noticed that none of them were the right size to contain the tea kettle.
No.
I mentioned this and asked him to please wrap the kettle and put it under the tree. He failed to do so. On Christmas, we opened gifts and there was no tea kettle. After all the gift opening was done, I asked him where my tea kettle was because I knew he got it for me. He ignored me and made comments to the effect that maybe I could hope for it next year. At this point, I started getting annoyed. I kept asking him to cut it out and give me my kettle, but he kept ignoring me. This escalated as I gradually got more and more upset. I started to doubt my senses and started wondering what happened to that box. Did I really see the brand on that box? Yes, of course, I'm not likely to hallucinate. Could he have somehow had second thoughts and returned it? If so, why on earth would he do that? Since he knows how much I wanted the kettle. Why is he doing this? Where the heck is my kettle? I was so confused and annoyed, compounded by the fact that my husband just kept ignoring my inquiries and seemed unconcerned that I was getting more and more upset. Finally, I just blew up and angrily spouted off about how I got him everything he wanted and more, but he couldn't give me the one gift that everyone knew I was excited about. I even angrily got my iPad out and started ordering one for myself while muttering about how messed up this was.
You're being
I have to
unreasonable.
pause. This is insane.
You're being unreasonable, OP.
We are throwing a fit because we didn't get a Christmas gift?
You're being I don't care how much you wanted it.
He's not required to get it for you.
Yeah, there are so many times where I didn't get like a thing that I was like, oh, I really want this. Oh
Right.
yeah, like they're definitely gonna give me this, and I didn't get it. And you know what you do? You sit down, you go, oh well, I love everything else, and you
Yeah.
smile through the pain of whatever disappointment.
But we certainly don't do this in
Yeah.
front of everybody, too. Like, this is in front of sister-in-law.
Is it actually?
It's on Christmas Day. She was coming to spend Christmas.
I thought this was just them. If this was
Oh,
in front
maybe.
of anyone else, that would be insane.
All I know is that she was buying gifts for sister-in-law
Yeah.
to open on Christmas.
I think it's just them together.
Okay.
But regardless,
Still,
you're throwing
this is
a fit.
weird.
You're throwing a fit over a tea kettle.
Right.
I don't care how much you wanted it.
I could understand being like, why didn't he get me the thing that I
Yes,
literally said I
absolutely.
wanted the most?
You could be upset and you can maybe bring it up later. But like when you're opening gifts, honestly,
and he got you the rest of your list.
yeah,
Like,
I think you're being really unreasonable and a little ungrateful.
my husband didn't flinch. My brother and sister-in-law were there witnessing all of this.
You are literally throwing a
Yes,
last
they're
year,
there.
last year I got 37. You're literally Dudley
You're
Dursley.
Dudley.
That is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
That is so you are okay, now you're undoubtedly the a-hole. I thought it was just you and him alone, and I was like, wow, that's messed up. You're
Well,
in
there's
front
4
of people.
total. At this point, I was very deeply upset, and Christmas was totally ruined.
Yeah, you ruined it.
Later, I discovered that my tea kettle had been sitting unwrapped on a chair in the other room, apparently waiting for me to find it. As soon as I saw it, I burst into tears because I felt stabbed in the heart that he would pull such a cruel prank on Christmas. I asked him repeatedly, many, many times, to please wrap my kettle and put it under the tree, but instead he chose to hide my gift from me and ignore my questions about where it was when it became clear it wasn't included in the gift unwrapping.
You suck.
I was so devastated I couldn't even stay for Christmas dinner. I withdrew to my bedroom, feeling utterly shattered. I can't even look at the tea kettle or any of my gifts. I haven't opened anything. I'm too traumatized. I sent him the attached text. You texted this man?
I
You
don't
couldn't
like
even
you.
have a conversation face to face? Are you kidding me?
I
You're a
don't like you.
child.
Yeah.
To explain how I feel and why what he did feels so deeply violating to me. I feel like I can't trust him anymore. I understand that in his mind, maybe this was a funny joke, but once he saw how upset I was getting, he had so many opportunities to back down and end it, but he kept going with me. It almost makes me feel like he was enjoying tormenting me. He hasn't apologized at all, even after my text explaining how this made me feel. He came in while I was crying in bed, lied down, and hugged me. I told him not to touch me, and he said that my reaction is not normal and that what he did was nothing. He keeps trying to shrug this off, but I feel so deeply hurt and broken inside.
Your reaction is not normal.
You're insane.
You're having a toddler tantrum over getting what you wanted.
Right. I'm like, did you not get something as a child and that's
Yeah.
just like really sticking with you? Like, what's
Like, this
happening here?
You are Dudley Dursley.
The bottom line is that I feel like he deliberately tried to upset me and torture me. And at the very least, he didn't care at all that I was so upset. All he had to do at any point along the way was say, okay, honey, you do have another gift. Here it is. Why didn't he stop me when I was ordering the kettle for myself?
Because you're crazy.
He just kept on with the charade. From my perspective, it's almost like he planned it this way to show his sister, look how crazy my wife can be.
You are crazy.
Yeah.
It's not on him. You're crazy.
He deliberately provoked me in a very inappropriate way on Christmas just to get some sort of sick, twisted upper hand.
It feels like you have like paranoid schizophrenia. Like you literally
even-
think that he's coming after you for getting a gift for you.
I'm just confused. But you know what we'll always get for you guys is more episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime, and Merry Christmas. There's some more
Christmas.
episodes.
We won't even hide it in the other room.
We will not, I swear. It'll just be there. We've got a little bit left. Anticipating questions, this didn't escalate quickly. Everything was very festive and nice during the gift exchange and unwrapping, which took almost an hour because there were so many presents. I always go overboard for him, and I went overboard for his sister as well. I did not erupt or blow up out of nowhere. I kept asking about the kettle after the gift exchange was over, and this was a very slow boil before I lost my cool. Anyway, please let me know what you think. My family seems to think I'm very sensitive, but I don't think they understand that this is not about a gift. It's about him planning and executing a prank on me that he knew was hurting me. And he kept on while watching things unravel, seemingly unconcerned. Even after I explained to him how it made me feel, he still doesn't seem to care and hasn't apologized.
You need to apologize to him and everyone who was at that party.
Yeah. Also, I think she reversed it earlier. She said my brother and sister-in-law, but it is her husband's sister and brother-in-law.
No, that makes sense. It's my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, so that would be
Earlier
her.
she just said my brother and my sister-in-law, so I mistook it as like, oh, he probably sees this all the time.
Yeah.
It's husband's sister, which I thought that's what she said at the beginning, but then we
Yeah.
switched it at one point.
Oh.
So this is probably new for everyone in that room.
Yikes. Big old yikes.
We have some comments. Comment 1. You're overreacting. While I don't think your husband should have been ignoring you or playing around when you asked about the cup, you are still an adult, and it is on you to regulate your emotions, no matter what someone else is doing. With that being said, I agree that your husband should have said it was a prank when you were visibly getting worked up. Does he frequently do things like this to get a reaction out of you? If he does, he is not a safe partner for you. Also, why are you buying presents for his sister? If he wanted his sister to have presents, he could have and should have brought them. I think that's another part of the reason that this is impacting you so much. You feel like you went above and beyond for him and his family just for him to basically antagonize you, and ended up with the opposite experience of him and his family members.
That was
That's
a terrible
the
comment.
only comment we
terrible
got?
comment. No.
No.
No, we are not giving OP that much leeway.
I do
No.
agree that if he wasn't sitting there in shock and he realized that she was getting upset, sure, you say,
Oh, okay,
haha,
it's in the other
gotcha,
room. Yeah.
it's in the other room. I think she
Yeah.
still would have been upset.
Yeah,
She
I
still would have
agree.
been like, I told you to wrap this last night. Why
Yeah.
didn't you wrap it and put it under the tree?
That's
Blah,
the thing.
blah, blah, blah,
The
blah.
fact that she was before, regardless of like, yes, maybe he should have like stopped the explosion from happening.
Yeah.
But she shouldn't have exploded.
Yeah,
You
we
just-
do need
like,
emotional
You do not act
regulation.
like that in front of guests. That's crazy to me.
I'm checking for this. Oh, we have the text.
Oh boy.
Let's see. This is from OP to husband. I am crushed that you chose to turn my biggest Christmas wish into an inappropriate and very cruel prank, and that you stuck with it even while it was obvious I was getting more and more upset. You had so many opportunities to back down, but you kept with the cruel prank despite my visible upset. That made me feel like you don't care about my feelings, and even that you were enjoying hurting me and mocking me. On the day that should be about family and support, I ended up feeling dismissed and unimportant. I'm humiliated, traumatized, and deeply hurt.
Oh my god.
And he said, oh no, turn the light off outside.
You OP,
Dang.
you 100% overreacted. Just astronomically overreacted.
Yeah.